I'm about to play the full uninterrupted Simon's ad promoting suicide. I only just watched it, and I'm not gonna lie, it was actually painful. And my reaction is, give people an inch and they will take a mile. That's the saying, and it applies to everything, even dying. Because what began as compassion and mercy for those suffering towards a natural end to a life of chronic pain has become a convenience for those without compassion and mercy. Those who would rather end a life than fix what's wrong with it. And that's the mile. Because they pushed for this, under the guise of compassion, they used terminally ill people as a shield the same way abortion advocates use victims of rape and incest, making you the monster if you're opposed to helping these people. That was the point they used to beat anyone who dared listen to their gut sense of wrong being triggered. That was the inch they were asking for. But a mile later, we are in a situation where no illness is required, unless you count poverty as sickness. Because now there are people who are faced with homelessness and are instead choosing death and being granted it. Because rather than address the housing issue, it seems easier to just use this as a method to decrease demand. Also, it is a lot less expensive to kill them than continue to pay benefits and allow them to drain resources. Where is the compassion and mercy that they emoted to get this through? Can't find love? Feeling lonely? May as well just end it. Don't like your job? Never quite feel satisfied with life? Just give up. Hope reincarnation exists and you'll land in a better spot next time. Fought bravely for your country. Gave all of yourself in allegiance to it and came back broken. Why not just put an end to it? And not burden the rest of us folk with the horrors you suffered on our behalf. MAID and abortion are about the same thing the majority of the time. Ending a life that is inconvenient to others. And that's where the humanity is. Because the people that bothers don't see the existence of others as an inconvenience that can simply be extinguished with no consequence to the soul. Because your life is never just about your life. Your existence affects everyone around you. And in many ways, we mean more to people than we realize. Our life matters to them. And a life ended does not end the suffering, because the people left behind now have that burden to carry. And this may get us down to the very essence of the problem here. Because life is full of suffering, but there is also joy and laughter and grace. And the things we so dearly lack now are the very things taken from us by the very people meant to preserve and defend those things. It's about community, and the lack of it is killing us. But how can we have community in a world where we are divided into groups, and those groups all pointed at each other and told it is their fault? Because this is where we are, many miles later after many inches given. Black, white, gay, straight, male, female, all meaningless categorizations meant to keep you from mingling with the groups that don't conform to those identifiers. We are told the other groups hate us and are coming for us. They are told the same, and community is destroyed. Togetherness is destroyed. They hate the flag because under one flag, all of those groups can unite and say, yes, we are one people, we are one community, we are together. Imagine the power of that. Which is exactly what they do not want. So instead we are divided and lonely and left to marinate in our misery to the extent that life becomes meaningless and insufferable. It is depressing and sad and fucking outrageous. Lives matter. And you can sell this to me in whatever guise works for you to mainstream this idea, but I think people of good conscience, of humanity, and of respect for the lives of others see through this. I'm going to play the ad now, uninterrupted. Please let me know what you think in the comments.
Dying in a hospital is not what's natural. That's not what's soft. In these kind of moments, you need softness. It can take dying to figure out what living is actually like. I spent my life filling my heart with beauty, with nature, with connection. So I choose to fill my final moments with the same. Last breaths are sacred. When I imagine my final days, I see music. I see the ocean. I see cheesecake. Even now, as I seek help to end my life, with all the pain, and in these final moments, there is still so much beauty. You just have to be brave enough to see it. And seeing the rhythms of what's gonna keep going after I'm gone bring a lot of comfort.
Hello, Death with Dignity community. I'm excited to be joining you in this very moment. Governor Hochul just signed New York's medical aid in dying law. Medical aid in dying will likely improve the quality of end-of-life care for the whole population, and the Death with Dignity National Center stands ready to help New York enact and implement this critical piece of end-of-life care legislation.
Time that patients spend with their family is enriched.
It's not meant for everyone, but it is very important to have the bill that provides the choice to someone.
Given the choice, I would also go with the end-of-life process, Death with Dignity, and try to go out the way that I want to go out, rather than letting the terminal illness choose.
There were many persuasive voices and arguments.
And it was clear everyone spoke from the basis of love and compassion and dignity and wanting to have that option and choice at the end of their life.
New York will always continue to be a bastion of freedom, to worship, to speak your mind, freedom of choice. It's time we finally extend those freedoms to the terminally ill and their families.
My name is Laura Johannes.
My name is Ann Keller.
If you're watching this, I've already died of pancreatic cancer.
I lost my status as a 7-year pancreatic cancer survivor and metastasized in my gut.
I had a wonderful life, and the choices that I made in that life brought me enormous joy.
I wake up every day and say, oh boy, we get another chance to get it right. So the fact that I had metastasized, yeah, well, my number's up.
Now, as I am dying, I find myself with no choices as to how to die.
I have come to Oregon to participate in their Death with Dignity Act that allows me to choose my own exit.
I have no control over the manner of my death, and that is making it harder for me to enjoy the friends and family and loved ones that surround me now here in my final days.
I just was mortified of my family having to see me struggle and slowly fall apart. Death with Dignity means that I have a say, and what I want for me is important. It's recognizing the individual should have a say in their own exit. It doesn't mean that everybody should do it. It doesn't mean that what I do is right for somebody else. It just means that it should be my choice.
I would certainly want that option. I'm not certain what I would do if I received a terminal diagnosis. It's something I'd certainly want to speak with my husband and my kids about. But I believe that we would all probably come to the conclusion that having that option would be a wonderful thing for my family and friends, and allow us to plan our lives in a way that doesn't have the chaos of hospitals and hospice and the uncertainty that might come with a terminal diagnosis. It's about control and agency and establishing peace of mind for one's final days.
I think some people are not comfortable talking about death. This is not one of those topics that, a lot of people are bringing up at their dinner tables necessarily. So even, I'm sure that I don't think it's even a partisan thing. I don't think it's a partisan issue. I think there's people, probably on the right that support it and don't support it. There's people more on the left that support or don't support it. And I think a lot of times people are bringing their own experiences into that or their own personal views into this. And like I would tell anybody, if this isn't something that you support, just don't use it, don't use it. It's okay, but it should be there to be an option for other people. And that's what we always have to look at, that this is an option. Nobody's mandating it. Nobody's saying you have to do it if you sign up for it. It just gives people the peace of mind knowing they have this as an option. So to those who are hesitant or have questions or concerns, look at it as an option.
When you don't have a choice, you should at least have an option.
Death with dignity means the individual experiencing a terminal illness can determine if, when, and how they want their life to end.
What if it was your choices? What if it was your experience?
You have a right to choose what you want to do with your life, especially at the point where it gets very clear that it's terminal. That should be a no-brainer.
Death with dignity means the individual who's experiencing the end of life, a terminal illness, can make that choice to determine if, when, and how they want their life to end. And dignity is about that choice within their heart, within their mind.
All legislators should meet with constituents in their district. You know, if they haven't had the awful possibility of a family member having gone through this like I did. Many of the legislators who now support it, who didn't initially, have had that unfortunate experience. You know, it just changes you. You see death differently. You understand that there are choices.
My father was in constant pain. He could barely eat by the time we put him in the hospital. He couldn't take care of himself. He was like a baby. My stepmom had to bathe him, had to wash him. He was in just constant pain.
That is what my father-in-law is going to have to go through if this piece of legislation doesn't pass. He knows what he wants. He knows how he wants to pass. He knows who he wants by his bedside. And he should be able to choose that. And he should be able to choose the timing of it.
What if it was your choices? What if it was your experience? And I think that many New Yorkers will see that this is a choice that they want to have.
Falling in line with, I think, the fundamental rights that this country was created on, I think it's important to let individuals believe what they want and live their life as they would like, so long as it doesn't impact your own. And I think the Medical Aid in Dying Act is one of those bills.
Let's be real, you know, medical aid in dying is not for everyone. It's not meant for everyone, but it is very important to have the bill that provides the choice to someone. And I think my op-ed really talked about that, this idea that it came out of this idea that, you know, holistic health is one that accepts the beginning of life and the end of life and everything that happens in between. And if we look at our lives, it involves more than just yourself. It involves your wife, your child, your mother, your father. And when you're thinking about life planning and family planning and this idea of how do you prepare for the worst, medical aid in dying just fits right there.
As an oncology registered nurse, I've taken care of patients from the diagnosis of their disease all the way to the end of life. A large part of the work that I do as a bedside nurse is end-of-life care. And I often see how extremely violent it can be to die, particularly if your wishes aren't upheld. And it's never an easy, clean process, and it's never what I think the patient or the family anticipate it's going to look like. And I think putting that power back in the hands of patients and allowing them to decide what their end of life looks like is something that I think is incredibly important and gives dignity back to people who, in many respects, have lost it through the course of their disease.
If you would like to make your own decisions about your end-of-life care, vote no on West Virginia Amendment 1. West Virginians, like my father, have always been proud to live life on their own terms. We also deserve the right to die on our own terms. A yes vote would be in support of enshrining a ban on those options in our state constitution. Vote no on West Virginia Amendment 1.
I'm voting no on Amendment 1, and if you believe that Mountaineers are always free, you should too. Cancer put me on a deathbed. I was probably the happiest West Virginian in the state. I ran a tattoo shop. I got to live my life doing what I loved with people that I loved. And now I have an inoperable tumor that I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life. Politicians should not be making decisions about my end-of-life care. That decision is for me and me alone. Vote no on Amendment 1.
Vote no on Amendment 1 because the end-of-life decision-making process belongs in the hands of the dying. My father passed away on August 26th. He wanted to be in charge of the way that he passed. He wanted to be in his house. He wanted to be surrounded by people he loved. This amendment would make that very hard to accomplish. Amendment 1 makes assumptions about what death should be. Vote no on West Virginia Amendment 1.
The Vermont Senate today passed a bill that would make it easier for terminally ill patients to get medical support in dying. Vermont's Death with Dignity law went into effect 9 years ago. But as State House reporter Devin Bates tells us, the strength and struggles of a former state lawmaker have drawn attention to the law's shortcomings.
His advocacy for this issue really reflected his internal strength.
During his time as Vermont's House Majority Leader, Willem Jewett was a strong advocate of the Death with Dignity Act. Jewett's former colleague, State Senator Ginny Lyons, told me he just had a way of winning over the room.
Willem was just one of these people who was an excellent advocate. Not only was he a good legislator, but he could express himself in such a way that people would listen and understand the value of a program like end-of-life choices.
Since 2013, the law has allowed terminally ill adult patients to request and obtain a prescription for the purpose of hastening their death. Earlier this month, as his cancer worsened, Jewett got a prescription, but his advocacy work wasn't over.
He spoke a lot in our interview about that during this time when, as a patient, you're losing so much control over so many aspects of your life, that having this little bit of control and this little bit of comfort is just so important.
Just days before Jewett's death, he did an interview with Betsy Walkerman, president of Patient Choices Vermont. He voiced his support for S-74, a bill that would no longer require terminally ill patients to go to in-person visits for an end-of-life prescription. He wanted this last act of advocacy to have an impact, and on Tuesday, the Vermont Senate passed that bill. 8 days after Jewett's death, Patient Choices Vermont shared that interview.
It's quite an effort when you get in the condition that I'm in right now, getting out to a doctor's appointment. It's hard, yeah. At the end of the day, the patient really needs to have control. And if it's between sort of public policy and patient control, let's side with the patient. I'm proud of this one.
In Montpelier, Devin Bates, Local 22 News.
The ayes to the right, 314. The noes to the left, 291.
The ayes to the right, 314. The noes to the left, 291. The ayes have it, and look! That completes third reading. If people who wish to leave now, please do so.
She woke up early in the morning, and that's when she said that she was ready. It was lung cancer that had metastasized.
People are still scared about how the laws are going to be applied.
Very quickly thereafter, she was asleep. We were singing Amazing Grace as she drifted off. It was extremely peaceful.
When I go and visit people in French hospitals, people in nursing homes, and I see the way they're treated, and especially during COVID, it was just horrible. I mean, the patients weren't asked if they wanted to live or to die. The doctors decided for them. It should not be for the doctors to decide. It's a philosophical issue, and it's about democracy, it's about liberty, and the choice should be given to every single person. Old people and sick people can't walk, take to the streets like the Gilets jaunes and march for their rights. Nobody seems to care. I mean, nobody speaks about the rights of the old. The only thing I'm campaigning for is not for euthanasia, it's not for assisted suicide. I'm more for life than for death. But I'm for living well and dying well. And a dignified life also includes a dignified death.
The Senate also just passed a bill that will allow medical assistance in dying. It passed the MAID bill last night, 30-27, after the House passed the bill in May. Now, a person is eligible if they've been diagnosed with a terminal illness and have 6 months or less to live. The bill now heads to Governor Pritzker's desk for his signature as well. 10 other states highlighted on this map in green already allow medically assisted death, and so does Canada. Another 6 state legislatures shown in yellow there are currently considering similar bills.
It is such a tragedy what happens.
It's a request that Peg Sandine's husband made to her.
He asked me to actually kill him. So I've seen this desperate situation before. I've experienced it personally.
Sandine's husband, John, was diagnosed with HIV in 1989 when the prognosis was grim and the suffering acute. She wrote about her husband asking her to help him die on HuffPost.com.
I was in shock, in my mindset at the time, that was murder, right? But he was suffering, and I wanted his suffering to end, and his doctor couldn't do anything about it. His nurses couldn't do anything about it. And so it just felt like unnecessary suffering.
Sandine says she couldn't help her husband, but the experience led her to Death with Dignity, which focuses on end-of-life advocacy and policy reform. In 1997, the Oregon Death with Dignity Act took effect, and since then, 9 other states and the District of Columbia have passed legislation. During the 21-22 legislative session, medical aid in dying bills were introduced in 12 other states.
If you think of us as a social justice movement for people with a terminal illness, we're very young. We're only 30 years old.
In states where it's legal, patients who meet the requirements can request a prescription from their doctor of a lethal dose of medications, allowing the patient to decide when they die. In 2020, former Florida Senator Kevin Rader introduced Senate Bill 1800, Death with Dignity.
The bill didn't go anywhere. It didn't have a committee hearing. It was practically DOA on arrival, dead on arrival.
Rader says the bill mirrored Oregon's and laid out the requirements for an individual to request medication for the purpose of ending their life in a humane and dignified manner. You had to be 18, a resident of Florida, clinically diagnosed with a terminal condition by 2 physicians, and competent to make an informed decision. While it didn't have legislative support, Rader says what it did was spark a discussion.
I had a lot of press and a lot of individuals who called me thanking me for filing the bill.
In November of 2020, a Brevard County man started Florida Death with Dignity. The organization says it now has Senate support for a proposed Florida End-of-Life Options Act. But Sandine says it likely won't happen quickly.
I am so excited about the grassroots work that they're doing in Florida to get this law passed. But it might be a while, but I think we will definitely see progress.
Using other states as a measurement, Sandine says it typically takes 10 to 15 years to pass legislation like this.
The New York State Assembly and Senate both passed a new bill that looks to expand medical options for terminally ill patients. Told News' Daniel Kern spoke with those on both sides of the aisle in the legislature and has more on this bill.
Well, that's right, Nicole. Work on the medical aid in dying bill began in 2013 before it was formally introduced in 2015. Now, a decade later, the bill has made its way to Governor Kathy Hochul's desk. The medical aid in dying bill passed through both chambers of the New York State Legislature and is now one step away from being signed into law. The bill is written by Assemblywoman Amy Paulin. By approval from 2 doctors, it allows terminally ill adult patients who have the mental capacity of making their own decisions to obtain a prescription that would peacefully end their life.
It creates a sense of bodily autonomy for people in a terminally ill situation, and I think that's incredibly important. So this is a choice for folks. It's not, no one has to do it.
The bill passed through the state assembly with an 81-67 margin and was approved by the state Senate in a 35-27 vote.
This was one of the most difficult pieces of legislation I've ever had to vote on.
Everybody in the chambers agreed. We debated this for 4 hours, and there wasn't a dry eye left in the chambers.
Assemblyman Joe Angelino voted against the bill, citing fears he has over its future use and aiding in the loss of human life.
In Canada, the slope has changed, and now younger people and also other types of illnesses now qualify. That was my fear to begin with.
If signed by Governor Hochul, New York would become the 11th state to pass this kind of legislation. Assemblywoman Paulin says the contents of the bill have not changed in the United States.
There's no history, even though this has been around for so long, of expanding it. So I think, again, it was an excuse not to support it.
Assemblywoman Donna Lepardo was a co-sponsor for this bill, and in a statement provided to 12 News on Tuesday, Lepardo said, in part, quote, "The bill provides individuals with autonomy, dignity, choice, and a chance at peace at the end of their lives. With numerous carefully crafted safeguards, I'm confident in my support of the legislation and thank the advocates for their years of effort and patience while we work to get it right." Live in studio, Daniel Curran, 12 News.
Florida lawmakers are considering a plan to make it legal for terminally ill patients to end their lives.
It's called the Death with Dignity bill. Several other states already have similar options in place. News4JAX reporter Ashley Harding joins us live. And Ashley, one recent case here in Florida reignited this discussion.
It certainly did, Bruce and Jennifer. You know, a woman was first charged with first-degree murder for shooting and killing her terminally ill husband. That was according to police, but she has since been indicted on lesser charges. But with this new bill, a terminally ill person with less than 6 months to live would be able to request medication from their doctor, and it would be self-administered.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
Ellen Gillen made national headlines in January when police say she shot and killed her terminally ill husband inside his hospital room. Gillen's story is one example of why Florida lawmakers will consider a bill that would allow terminally ill people to legally end their lives.
The story that happened in Daytona Beach Hospital is very tragic, and I believe if we had had a Florida End of Life Options Act or some way for them to choose, that wouldn't have happened.
Tony Ray is the founder of Florida Death with Dignity and says although not as public, there are cases similar to Gillen's. Ray says if Florida lawmakers were to pass this legislation, it would join 10 states and Washington, D.C. in allowing a physician's aid in a dying option. You see it here. This bill is 20 pages long, and it would require counseling between the patient and a mental health counselor to determine if they are competent. Now, to get the medication, they'd have to make 2 verbal requests plus a written one. Ray also points to hospice and how it may not help every terminally ill patient.
Hospice is a wonderful organization, but not everyone can be solved. Their pain and suffering can't be solved through hospice.
But not everyone agrees. News4JAX found this opinion issued by the American Medical Association Code of Medical Ethics. It says physician-assisted suicide is fundamentally incompatible with the physician's role as healer. It goes on to say, instead of engaging in assisted suicides, physicians must aggressively respond to the needs of patients at the end of life.
Individuals who don't believe in this because of their religious or moral standings, we respect that. We also ask, though, that you would not stand in the way of someone who had a different belief and values than you do from utilizing medical aid in dying.
And a similar bill has been filed in the Florida House. If this passes, this would take effect this July. We're live this morning. Ashley Harding, Channel 4, the local station.
A video that's gone viral on social media tells the story of a young woman with terminal cancer who will choose to die next month. 22 News reporter Julie McDonald spoke with Massachusetts voters about whether a Death with Dignity law has a future in Massachusetts.
What's life without quality?
For most people, death is something that comes without warning, hopefully peacefully in old age. But Brittany Maynard knows exactly when she'll die. In a little over 3 weeks, the 29-year-old Oregon woman diagnosed with terminal cancer will take medicine to end her life at home, surrounded by her husband, mother, and family.
I can't even tell you the amount of relief that it provides me to know that I don't have to die the way that it's been described to me that my brain tumor would take me. on its own.
Maynard moved to Oregon to have access to physician-assisted suicide. Here in New England, Vermont was the first state to pass similar legislation. Back in 2012, 51% of Massachusetts voters rejected a death with dignity ballot question. But Western Mass voters I spoke with today said they think the outcome could be different in the future because of increased awareness.
What social networking and social media is, I think if people see these, they can kind of relate to these people, because eventually everybody's going to have somebody who has a terminal illness.
There's too many people that think they should dictate what you do, the choices you make. And, you know, America was built on freedom of speech, freedom of choice, and one of those choices is how I live my life and how I choose to die.
Earlier this year, a poll by Purple Strategies showed that 70% of Massachusetts voters want more options at the end of life. That's a 10% increase from 2012. Julie McDonald, 22 News.
10 years ago, Vermont was in the throes of heated debate over the so-called Death with Dignity bill, a measure that would allow very sick Vermonters to end their own lives. Opponents called it doctor-assisted suicide, and many religious groups testified against it. The debate took years, but in the end, Vermont became the first state to enact the law through legislative action. It's a law a Burlington man says is a gift to taxpayers, his friends and family, and himself.
Except for getting married, this is the happiest time of my life.
Bill Mayer's resume can't fit on one page. Marine.
Because I was the first, number one in the platoon.
Journalist.
And then I took home 8,000 negatives.
Beekeeper.
Hug your local beekeeper.
Beer maker. Lawmaker.
And then I served 6 years.
Singer.
Oh, we'll always stay in Vermont. Hey-up. Hey-up.
Teacher.
So I could always maintain this professional curiosity.
And best-selling author.
It led to the next book and the next book.
Now the Burlington man is ready for the final chapter of his life.
Oh, it's a lymphoma.
The 83-year-old got the terminal diagnosis in early July, but he's not letting the cancer kill him.
And God bless the people of Vermont who have given us all the right to make this choice.
He'll do that himself, legally, under the state's so-called Death with Dignity law.
It's time to choose, and I got to choose, and this is the way I've chosen.
All right. Up until his death, he'll get hospice help.
A shade for you before.
Personal care and company.
How's your face feel?
Fine, clean.
Mayors will take a lethal dose of medication at home under Act 39. The law allows people with less than 6 months to live to end their lives with doctor's approval after being deemed mentally competent to make the decision. So far, 208 Vermonters have died this way since the law was created just over 10 years ago, and 26 out-of-staters have. The law was amended last year to allow non-residents to travel here to use the aid in dying law.
The public policy should be giving this person who has their marbles the right to decide when to leave the planet.
It's very interesting to be sitting across from someone, interviewing someone whom I know will be gone as of just a few days.
So I don't know what kind of metaphor you want, but no, I leave in complete gratitude for the chance to run my mouth in these last days and to have a row of books up there and have a wonderful family.
Part of the decision-making was done with his wife of 53 years.
And she kissed me and said, fine, it's your decision. And I understand, and no elaboration. She just said, yeah, I understand. And I love you. And the kids were the same way.
Because he really didn't want to end up in the hospital, really didn't want to end up with a lot of tubes and lingering.
The family's pragmatic approach doesn't hide, though, the hole Mayers' death leaves at home.
It's going to be bad to not have anybody in the house. You know, if I come in the door, there's the dog, and there's Bill. So, but I'll manage.
Mayers will be cremated, his ashes spread near their Northeast Kingdom camp. This was the only time he got emotional during our conversation.
And they sprinkled my ashes where we got married on this hill in St. Johnsbury.
And the church-going Episcopalian believes there's everlasting reward after death. But before he goes, and despite his years of hard work, Mayers has one more job to do.
Because I'm on a crusade.
Sharing his story with Channel 3 News in hopes that he can get a national Death with Dignity law introduced in Congress. He talked with Senator Peter Welch about it, and so did we just hours later.
And there are significant safeguards in place. So I support what we did in Vermont, and I'd advocate for it in Washington. But I do think that the state-by-state approach is what is going to be essential before you get a national piece of legislation.
Welch says the U.S. isn't ready for a national law, nor is it fair, he says, because, like Vermont did, it needs to be debated locally.
I'm living the results of what I want everyone to have, which is a right to decide.
Mayers knew going into his final moments that he made his hopes known. And on Monday, the prescription was delivered. Close friends got in some quick visits. Then, with only family at his side, he made some last-minute jokes. They said their goodbyes, and he took the powder mixed in a favorite Vermont beer, Conehead. And his wife, Chris, tells me he was gone in a matter of minutes. It was peaceful, and in her words, perfect, just as Mayers wanted.
I'm happy that I've had this wonderful life.
A celebration of his life will happen at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in Colchester, Sunday, August 10th at 10 a.m., and everyone's invited.
This is big news. Illinois is now the 13th state to allow medical aid for patients with terminal illnesses who want to end their own lives. Governor Pritzker signed the controversial measure into law this morning. Our Charlie Wojciechowski is here to tell us what it means for patients, and you also have reaction from both sides, Charlie.
We do, Natalie, and what this really is an option for people who don't have many options left. If they meet certain criteria and consult with at least 2 doctors, terminal patients can decide to end their own lives. The measure has been called compassionate by some and dangerous by others.
He wanted desperately to live.
Susie Flack's son Andrew was diagnosed with an aggressive form of colorectal cancer in 2017. Rather than come back to Illinois to be with his family, he stayed in California because that state had a medical aid in dying law.
He was just so charismatic. And when he found out that he had terminal cancer, because he had cancer when he was 4 and survived that, you know, he just really guided the whole family into acceptance.
Andrew Flack died 3 years ago. His mother says she experienced a series of emotions when she heard the bill, which had passed the legislature in Illinois last month, was signed into law this morning.
I am absolutely overwhelmed. I'm thrilled, obviously, that the governor has signed this law.
Illinois is now the 12th state, along with the District of Columbia, with a medical aid in dying law. Last month, Governor J.B. Pritzker said he struggled with the measure.
I know how terrible it is that someone who's in the last 6 months of their life could be experiencing terrible pain and anguish, and I know people who've gone through that.
The law, which has come to be known as Deb's Law, allows mentally capable adults diagnosed with a terminal illness and a prognosis of 6 months or less to live to be prescribed life-ending medication. A doctor need not be present when it's administered. Illinois House Leader Tony McCumbee was among those saying the bill's guardrails were not strong enough.
I really feel during my mom's journey before her passing, she would have taken this option for me and my brothers to ease our pain and not her pain. And that is, I don't know how somebody, I don't know how you live with that kind of guilt.
The measure is also a disappointment for advocates for people with disabilities.
Suicide and suicidal ideation is much higher among people with disabilities than folks realize.
Now, among the safeguards in the Deb's Law bill, patients must be able to self-administer their medication. No one can do it for them. They also have the right to withdraw their request at any time and for any reason. Also, death certificates for people who choose this option will attribute the cause of death to the underlying illness and not suicide. Natalie?
All right, thanks, Charlie.
name's Philip Nitschke. I'm the director of Exit International, which is dedicated to the idea that all rational adults should have the ability to peacefully end their lives at the time of their choosing. In other words, that suicide or the end of one's life by oneself is a human right, not something that should be subject to some criteria or medical control or medical supervision. It's a sort of a capsule, a cap container, and you press a button and that capsule is then rapidly flooded with nitrogen. It's a way that a person can press a button and die at the time that they wish and under their control. And we 3D printed it so we could tell people how to make one anywhere in the world. To take that step towards ending your life under any of the legislative environments which are now in countries around the world, you've got to have mental capacity. And so someone has to assess it. And traditionally that's been done by doctors, in particular psychiatrists. And so we were looking at a way of getting rid of that last vestige of medical control and involvement in the process. It did occur to me a few years back that we could certainly set up a bit of software that I think could do a better job of assessing whether or not you had capacity than 5 minutes sitting at the feet of a psychiatrist talking about whatever. What we've done is develop a conversational process with an avatar. You'll sit there and talk about the issues that the avatar wants to talk to you about, and the avatar will then decide whether or not she or he thinks that you've got capacity. Running this past the various psychiatrists I talk to, none of them think it's going to work, or that it's any good, or that it's going to replace them. But I think it does a pretty good job. The first drafts are already functioning. Whether it's as good as a psychiatrist, whether it's got any biases built into it, we know that AI assessments, etc., have involved bias, etc. We can do what we can to eliminate that. I'm hoping that we'll be able to run it in parallel with psychiatrists who are doing the reviews for people seeking assisted death, just to make sure that the two comply and agree with one another. And I think that in time, hopefully not too long, finally it will be accepted as an alternative to having the involved psychiatric review.
Technology can both amaze and horrify us. Our next story tonight is more about the latter, the horrific part, courtesy a new product on the market, a suicide pod. It is exactly what it sounds like, a pod meant to assist suicides. It is a futuristic-looking contraption. Once a person climbs into it, nitrogen gas will be released, oxygen will be eliminated, and within minutes the person will die, all at the cost of just $20. It is the very definition of dystopian. Understandably, the pod has received severe backlash. It has been met with calls for bans, but the makers are undeterred. They plan to launch the suicide pod in Switzerland. Here's a report.
This is Sarko, the Tesla of euthanasia. At least that's what it's been dubbed, because this is a suicide pod. In crass but simpler terms, it's a portable machine to kill oneself. This is a futuristic-looking 3D printed machine. It was first unveiled in 2019. Ever since then, it has been mired in controversy, and expectedly so. But now the drama has reached new heights, because for the first time it will be open to use.
That releases the lid. The lid is very light to touch, so it's very...
The details are not clear yet, but the pod is expected to be launched in Switzerland and put to use in the coming months. Why Switzerland? Because of their law. Assisted suicide has been legal in the country since the 1940s. And there are two requirements. First, the person wishing to die must pass a psychiatric test. Secondly, the assisted suicide has to be performed by someone with no direct interest in the death. The procedure is straightforward. There are legal guardrails. This makes Switzerland among the best options for assisted suicide, not just for its own citizens, but globally. The country is now called a suicide tourism magnet. So Switzerland was the obvious pick. But what differentiates the pod from other means of euthanasia? How does it work? After the psychiatric test is complete, the pod will allow a person to die without the requirement of medical supervision. The makers say it will reduce the dependence on doctors.
So they climb in to the capsule, they close the lid, they will be asked questions, and that part works. A few questions are asked to see whether they know what they're doing. Who are you? Where are you? What happens if you press the button? That allows the power to come onto the sarco, and then the person says, if you want to die, the voice says in the processor, press this button. The person presses the button. Immediately in the base, the generator, a large quantity of nitrogen is produced, which eliminates all of the oxygen in the actual capsule.
Once the button is pressed, the expected time frame is 5 minutes before death occurs. The pod has been primarily built for people with serious physical illnesses. Plus, it's relatively cheap. It costs $20, so it's accessible. But the idea has invited more discomfort than praise. The pod has received severe backlash.
This is a solution that we really don't understand, which is luxurious. We could call it that is the design, but it seems totally inappropriate to us. The way we work, using pentobarbital, which is prescribed by a doctor, which allows people to die gently, surrounded by their loved ones, friends, and children, is a death that is so much more serene than shutting oneself up alone in a sarco, even if that sarco happens to be facing the Matterhorn.
Authorities have suggested that the device should be banned. They have called for severe punishment for those assisting the suicide and the inventor. Critics call him Dr. Death. But the inventor is sticking to his guns, or pod, in this case.
It's not just some medical privilege for the very sick. It's a fundamental human right. If you've got the precious gift of life, you should be able to give that gift away at the time of your choosing.
So that's the logic, returning a gift. But one thing that takers should know is once a decision is made, they won't be able to change their minds. Because once you press that button, there's no going back.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making First Post 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
As the world warms, nature's sentinels will rise. As a billion hands will dig deep to write a new future for our planet.
On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. The first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to First Post America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C.
One of the most controversial ways to die, a Swiss organization's assisted suicide pod.
But once you climb into the sarco and press the button, you will
peacefully die.
But now the maker of the so-called sarcopod, which allows people to take their own life using nitrogen gas, is revealing an even more controversial revamp. A new, larger machine called the Double Dutch Sarco that would allow couples to die at the same time and use artificial intelligence to determine whether someone should be allowed to die.
So we're thinking that a piece of software will do the job probably better than a psychiatrist.
Inventor Philip Nitschke says current laws that require human doctors to judge a person's mental capacity and whether they're eligible for medically assisted suicide are inconsistent.
You can indeed take the same person to a couple of psychiatrists and get 3 different answers about whether or not they have mental capacity.
Instead, Nitschke believes people should be evaluated by an AI avatar, telling us the tech will determine if a person is of sound mind. He says if the person passes the test, they get a 4-digit PIN that switches on the pod for 24 hours, which is when the person themselves can then decide if they want to go through with it.
We can't use the Sarco unless you pass a mental capacity test.
The technology is not yet in use, but bioethicists are skeptical.
I'm going to say flat out, it's ridiculous. AI isn't up to that job. We know that it hallucinates, it gets things wrong. No one should be trusting artificial intelligence anytime soon to determine your competency.
Assisted suicide with or without AI is still hotly debated. Switzerland has allowed medically assisted suicide since the 1940s, and today it has some of the most lenient regulations in the world. It's where, in 2024, a 64-year-old American woman became the first and only person to use Nitschke's sarcopod. It's a story we covered at the time here on NBC News.
The group running the device now suspending applications.
A forensic analysis later found the woman died with severe injuries to her neck, according to court documents obtained by Dutch media, something Nitschke denies.
There certainly haven't been studies on this and making sure that it is, 1, a harmless way to go, 2, a quick way to go, and 3, a definite way to go, which are the things you want if you're getting to that point in your life where you need something like this.
Only one person was present during the woman's death, the group's director, Florian Willett. The pod was confiscated by authorities and Willett was arrested under suspicion of aiding and abetting suicide, but was later released. Willett died by assisted suicide in May of last year.
10 weeks in prison seriously damaged him and he went off and ended his own life.
Here in the U.S., physician-assisted suicide is restricted only to people who are terminally ill. The idea came into the national spotlight when Jack Kevorkian, known as Dr. Death, helped dozens of terminally sick people die.
It's a right that you should have the choice. Don't take it if you don't want it. It'll be well controlled by medical people, I guarantee that.
Since then, physician-assisted suicide has become legal in a dozen states, including California, Illinois, and Washington, D.C. 13 others are considering legislation, and New York just passed a law to allow it, which takes effect later this year. Even so, the laws are strict, which raises a ton of questions and concerns about the implementation of AI in the sarcopod, even across the pond.
I don't want the last person that a dying person has conversation with to be some AI-driven chatbot. And I hope we never get to that.
Complicating an already ethically complex issue.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.
All right, I want to say shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, today, to doing this lesson, so, we're going to give all praise and honors and infinite glory, of course, to the Most High and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. And I like to say shalom, all right, to my apostles, my elders, great millstone, and to those that rule well. Peace and salutations unto the elect, to Yuakim, Wa'achwa, all right, scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth, the tabernacle of King David. All right. In today's lesson, and shout out and shalom to you Israelite foreigners, that look like the other nations, but are in fact Israelites, Yeruri Hachimoras, Naomi Osaka, Patrick Mahomes, Blake Griffins, Clay Thompsons, you know what I'm saying? Shalom to y'all, In today's lesson, honestly, I'm not going to make this video too long, but as y'all can see in the video, man, y'all see that quietly, because a lot of people don't even know. I can bet you it's a whole bunch of people that don't even know about this bill that's being passed out. And it's not just here in America, folks. It's everywhere. It's legalized everywhere. Called Death with Dignity. Instead of your government instead of the people that want to kill themselves or unalive themselves, well, guess what? Those people that are depressed that want to unalive themselves, they don't have to do it. Your government or these doctors, these so-called doctors and hospitals, they can unalive, they can kill you, they can kill the so-called mentally ill or depressed people for them, man. And just so you brothers and sisters can know, 3 to 7% of deaths is from medical assistance and death, or as they would call it, death with dignity. Okay, so as y'all can see, I'm gonna show y'all this, so y'all see death with dignity, and y'all see this. Y'all see the cities that it's legal in, man. Okay, okay, put it up close so y'all can see it. All right, you see it. All right, and you saw it in the video too, man, through the commercials and stuff, man. You see it, man. And it's like the devil's Satan ain't even hiding it anymore, man. Satan is just straight up going for the kill shot, man. Okay? Satan is not even hiding what he wants to do, man. All right, hold on, Salaki. I'm trying to get it. Okay. So as y'all can see, these are the states that it's legal in and what they're going to legalize it in. As y'all can see, man. Okay? Take the time, if you want to pause it, do what you got to do. And y'all see it in the video and the commercials as well. But folks, do y'all see where we are headed, man? That's how you know, man, we are in the times of Jacob's trouble, man. We are definitely in those times, man. All right, we are in the time where things are about to get real out here, man. And like we've been telling people for years, man. So think about all the people that died from the you-know-what, man. Think about all the people that died from the you-know-what. That jump shot, man. And then now you can add death with dignity, man. All the people who are depressed. So just think about all the 100,000 of people that died from death with dignity, suicide pods, or as you would call, as they call the guy Dr. Death, right? Suicide pods, right? And death with dignity, man. And folks, they're going to legalize this in all the United States, man. They're going to legalize it everywhere, okay? So that's why we tell y'all, man, in these times to come, man, you got to put your trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man, in these scriptures. And I got a few scriptures, and then we're going to close it, man, okay? If you people, I'm telling y'all, man, if you people, y'all don't put y'all trust in the Lord, man, okay, you are going to be lost in the sauce out here, man. All right. And for those that don't want to follow the Most High and His Son, man, all right, you clearly see what the devil has in plan, man. See, folks, the devil ain't, Satan ain't even hiding what he's trying to do to the people and what he's getting ready to do to the people, man. Okay, that's why we tell y'all, man. And you know what I'm saying. Share this video, man. You don't have to, you can, if you want to share this part, you can, but share this part of the video, man. People need to know that this is legalized, man. Here in the United States of America, everywhere. Not just here in the United States, but also all across the countries, man. And I could bet my bottom dollar, 95% of the population don't even know that's going on, man. That's why they got people caught up in these distractions, man. And all those videos you seen, those are recent commercials, man. And your politicians, because all of them are Satanists. All these trained Marxists, all of them are Satanists, man. The Satanists are the ones that are behind it, man. And it's clear as day, man. But you see, man, that and they're not even hiding that they want to kill off our people, man. Okay? Because they know a lot of people are gonna be alone. They know that, you know what I'm saying, they created this this illusion, for the women to go against the men and the men to go against the women. And you know what I'm saying? And then just think about how many women have kids, but you know what I'm saying, they don't have the father to help them, man. Just think about that, man. And then think about the pressure that it puts on them, man. And to the point where they're going to have thoughts like, oh, I want to, you know what I'm saying, unalive myself, man. And hence why that's why they got this, man. Hence why they got that. Or and that includes dudes too, man. You know what I'm saying? That includes guys, even guys that are so-called depressed, man, or want to unalive themselves. That's what they got that for, man. But do you people see that our government, okay, our so-called our leaders, they don't give a shit about you? And do you see that Satan, the devil, is coming down with great wrath, and at this rate, he just wants to go for the kill shot, man? Okay, he's already killing billions with the juice, that needle, He's killed billions of people with that. So then you can add death with dignity. And you know what I'm saying? That's mass death on a whole scale, man. I'm gonna prove to y'all, man, that this is all prophetic, man. All this is prophetic, man. All right. So I got a few scriptures, man. Okay. I'm gonna prove to y'all, man, this is prophetic, man. All right. This is 100% prophetic. All right. As y'all see what's going on, man. The Georgia Guidestones, the Deagle website, all right, their depopulation plan is clear as day, man. Okay? It's clear as day, man. They want to kill off, Satan is trying to kill off as many people as he can, man. Okay? That Georgia Guidestones, maintain humanity under 500 million, and that Deagle website, this is included, man. All right, let's get that in Psalms, man. This is Psalms chapter 91 and verse 7. And it reads, 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh or thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. So if you put your trust in the Lord, man, Yahweh Shem Shai, you put your trust in his son, in these scriptures, man, okay, he's going to protect you, man, in the times to come, man, especially when shit hits the fan, because y'all been hearing, all right, these power outages that have been happening in Memphis, Tennessee, Lord willing, I'll do a video on that. Now they saying 100,000 people are without power, man, in Memphis, Tennessee, and we already see what's going on with Gary, Indiana. I heard people been trying to steal, they when they cut the power off, man, they know people ain't gonna have no food or water, so then they know people are gonna have to refer to trying to go steal stuff from people, or basically try to unalive somebody just to take food, man. And see, that's another thing that's getting ready to come, man. But we've been trying to warn people for years that these things were getting ready to come, man. But people called us crazy, man. But see, a lot of people, and this is going into how a lot of people are dropping dead like flies, man. Every single day, man, you hear the news, man. Such and such died. So what was it? A 25-year-old soccer player, man, just died and collapsed suddenly. And obviously, we know exactly what it was, man. It's like people every single day, man. Like 2 football players. Matter of fact, 5, 6 football players back to back to back died suddenly, man. And I get the news feed every time, man. It's like 100,000 people per day, man, died suddenly, man, on the news, man. And I'm sure it's even more people who are dying and catching cardiac arrest, man, or died suddenly and they don't even know what the cause is, man. Okay? And then you can add the people who are depressed, who chose MAIDS, medical assistance in death, or death with dignity. And then you can add the death totals, man. It's on a mass scale, man. But see, a lot of people don't even know that this is going on. That's why I wanted y'all to be aware of this, man. That's why I said share this, man. Because this is happening right now, man. Okay? But obviously, the news, they're not going to tell you, man. They wanted to keep this quiet, man. They didn't want people to know that they were doing this, man. Okay? Because people are waking up to who they are according to the Bible, and even people are waking up, man, to what's going on in this world, man. So that's why the devil gotta come down with great wrath, man. Okay. All right, let's get Revelation chapter 9, because it talks about how people are gonna unalive themselves. And this is really going into the microchip when you think about it, but it also applies to how people are gonna be trying to kill themselves, man. Okay, this is Revelation chapter 9 and 6. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. Right, so we're gonna come into a time where it's gonna be times when they shut down the work, because obviously we know the devil's plan and we know exactly what he's getting ready to do, people. And but what's gonna happen is when they take away the food, the water, okay, when there's famine, no food, no water, because it's all biblical prophecy. Okay, when they get rid of the paper dollar and when people won't have anything to do, and they gonna want to do stuff, especially for their kids, for their family, for their self. Okay, the devil is going to give them a solution, and that solution is to take the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip or the brain implant, aka Elon Musk's Neuralink. All right, or that 6G that they want to get inside your body, man. Okay, that is what they're going to say. That's the only way you're going to be able to survive. And unfortunately, people, it's gonna be millions of people and billions of people that's gonna take the chip, man. Now you're gonna have those that aren't gonna take the chip and stand for the Lord, but then you're gonna have majority of the masses, okay, that are gonna fold under pressure and they're gonna take the chip, just like they took the juice, man, during the demic, man. Okay, it's the same test run, man. But those that take the RFID microchip or the brain implant in the Paleo Hebrew, that means the charagma. Okay, people are going to be okay, because now the Most High don't have control over them, man. Satan has control over them, man. And not only that, they're going to be destroyed forever, man. And they're going to be dealing with pain on a whole nother scale, man. Okay, that's why we tell y'all, don't take that RFID microchip, man. Okay, because it's coming, man. And that's the mark of the beast, man. All right, so don't say we didn't warn you, man. Okay, we told people numerous times. You know what I'm saying? We've been warning people this, man. You know, our elders and apostles, they always been preaching to warn people not to take the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, man. Okay, and we gonna keep saying it, man. Because if you take it, man, you're gonna be destroyed forever, man. You ain't gonna make the kingdom of heaven, man. You're gonna be destroyed forever and ever. You're gonna be burnt, man. Okay? And I'm telling you, man, what people are gonna do, man, people are going to be to the point where Satan is gonna have full control over them, man. They ain't gonna be able to do what they want. They're gonna have to do what the devil tells them to do, man. And it's gonna be to a point where if you watch the movie Implant, watch the movie Implant. That's what the movie Implant is going to be a reality, man, for these people, man. And you seen at the end that Sarah, she wanted to unalive herself, man. She couldn't do what she wanted to do, man. Okay? And there was other people who took the chip too, man. Okay? So it's gonna be a time like that, man. Okay? People gonna want to try to die, but they ain't gonna be able to, man. Okay? But yes, we're coming into a time, man, where shit is about to get real out here, man. And yes, even the Most High knows, man, that there is going to be people that's going to want to unalive themselves, man. Hence why they got death with dignity, man. But do y'all see what the devil's agenda is and what he's getting ready to do while people are distracted by nonsense, man? Shake my head, man. People got to wake up, man. I just got one more scripture, y'all, and then I'm gonna go, and then that'll be it. And I'm gonna put this together with my video. But look, share this video, man. All right, please, man. People need to be aware of this death with dignity, man, because a lot of people don't know that this is happening, man. Okay, so share this video, please, man. Okay, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 20. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16 and 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. Right, man. So that means it's gonna be look, man. So and really, man, this is speaking on those that don't want to acknowledge the Most High and His Son, and those that don't want to repent and turn back to the Heavenly Father, man. You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, even you Israelite foreigners, man. All right, that are Israelites according to the seed, the bloodline of your father, man. But if y'all don't turn back to the Lord, man, okay, y'all gonna be unalive in these last days, man. The Lord is gonna bring famine, all right. No water. Okay, he's gonna bring pestilences, plagues, and it's gonna be mass death taking place, man. All right, and it's gonna be dead bodies dropping everywhere, man. All right, it's gonna be death at a mass scale, man. You're gonna see dead bodies dropping, man, and we already see death taking place, man. But see, a lot of people don't want to accept that, man. The stuff that's happening right in their face, because folks. Death with Dignity, folks. This is reality, folks. This isn't no fairy tale made up. This is reality, folks. And the government, the Satan ain't even hiding what he wants to do to you, man. He's letting you know that I want to kill everybody if I can. Okay, especially those that follow the Most High and His Son, man. Okay, so that's why y'all got to be strong in this thing, man. And stay rooted in this word, man. And don't be depressed, man. All right? Don't be depressed, man. All right? If you got issues, man, hey, man, take it up with the Lord, man. All right? And, hey, man, because remember, Yahweh Shai be that burden unto you, man. So take your stress and all that to Yahweh Shai, man. And Yahweh Shai will be your rest, man. Okay? Because in these times to come, man, hey, you don't want to be depressed, man. Okay? Because obviously we know they're coming down with great wrath on the righteous, man. Okay? But as you people can see, man, y'all see what's happening and what's going on, man. But hey, man, I want y'all to share this video, man. But hey, listen, man, we got to wake up. Hey, y'all got to see what's going on. But hey, man, share this video if you can, And I've been trying my best, to do videos and lessons because I didn't want YouTube to take it down, man. That was my only issue or concern is that if YouTube took my video down, and I've been putting fair use in everything, but YouTube been on some BS, man. So I'm gonna try, Lord willing, man. I hope you brothers and sisters was edified, but please share this video and that people be aware of what's going on, man. All right, but hey, man, this devil Esau is diabolical, man. He ain't even hiding it, man. He knows that his queendom is going down, so now he got to bring out Death with Dignity and MAIDS, man. Can't make this up, Yasharala. But anyway, with that, we're going to close. I'm going to give all praise and honors and infinite glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. And I like to say shalom to my apostles, elders, great millstone. All right, peace and salutations and shalom to you, Akim wa Akwaf out there, believing in the faith, in the truth, to the best in truth and sincerity. And to you all, I want to say shalom, Kwam Yasharala, man. All right, we out. Hey, share this video, you know what I'm saying? People need to be aware.